York.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in support of this measure and yield myself as much time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
I'd like to begin by thanking the ranking member of the African Subcommittee, Ms. Karen Bass of California, for her hard work on this legislation. For several years, Libya has been a hub for African migration to Europe, with an estimated 700,000 to 1 million refugees and migrants currently in the country. Last year, I was shocked and horrified to see multiple news reports documenting the existence of slave auctions in Libya, where these migrants and refugees were put up for sale. It is unbelievable that in the year 2018, we could still have slavery anywhere in the world. Just absolutely unbelievable. Since then, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights found that many migrants who enter Libya are forced to work for no pay. This is also unacceptable. We cannot accept a world where human beings are auctioned off, treated like property. It's unbelievable. These are some of the most vulnerable people in the world, and we cannot stand by as they are mistreated. This resolution strongly condemns slave auctions and the exploitation of migrants and refugees as forced laborers in Libya. It also calls upon all parties to the conflict in Libya to investigate and eradicate slave auctions and forced labor involving migrants and refugees, to hold those identified in the investigation accountable in courts of law, and to examine the extent to which profits earned through the exploitation of these migrants may be fueling conflict in Libya. Importantly, the measure also calls upon the United Nations to investigate the slave trade and forced labor in Libya, and also expand UN Security Council sanctions against individuals and entities responsible for this atrocity. The international community must hold accountable those who are responsible for these heinous crimes. It's also important that we have full information so we can address this issue and understand what we're dealing with. That's why it's so important that this resolution also urges the Secretary of State to ensure that Libya is fully and accurately covered in the annual Trafficking in Persons report. This measure sends a clear message. By passing it today, we say unequivocally that we will not stand for this inhumanity. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge my colleagues to support this bipartisan measure. I thank the Chairman again, and I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman from New York reserves.